What's good, fam? It's Lil Vibe here, Web3 Studios, about to dive into this OKC album breakdown, my latest and newest album with a very talented producer out of New Zealand, Axel. And yeah, OKC, let me see where it's at right here. Bow, OKC. That's Oklahoma City. That's the city where we're from. And so you can see here the acronym for the city, OKC. Now, my partner in rhyme, my homie Young Barrett, also put out OKC, named just like this. And so for this album, when I was putting it together, wanted to tie it all together, put out a couple of these classic hard albums for the city. And so I did mine OKC, play on words, two words there, and Axel helped me get it turned up. So shout out to my guys, Young Barrett, Web3 Studios. Shout out to Axel. Also, we got RJC Productions on this album. And the RJC producer, he engineered my vocals on a large majority of the tracks. I think there's only about 4 tracks that he didn't end up engineering it on. And also produced on track 8 Fade along with P Status Beats. Shout out to P Status Beats and RJC as well. They also helped make this album what it is. So shout out to the guys Axel, RJC, and P Status Beats, and of course Young Barrett for his album OKC. We're gonna dive into OKC, and even getting this going, this is such a special thing for me because this is an album I always wanted to make. As an artist, I always wanted to make what I consider to be the highest quality, the top tier, the top level of just everything that I really appreciate and enjoy in all of my favorite artists, hip hop artists in particular, which is just the content, the storytelling, the message, the production, the bars. Does it sound good? The delivery, the character, the persona. What are you telling me? The story you're taking me through. So I really wanted to do my own version of that. Of course, as an artist, you always want to make the thing that's in your head, and it's took me many years to get here, and got here with this one. I'm so grateful for everything and all the influences, and all praise to God. And that's a big part of this album as well, my spirituality, my faith, my studies into the mystic, the esoteric. As you can see, I've got my tarot decks here. I've got references throughout the album, Edinburgh and Door lectures on mental science there. Love having this set up because I can see myself while I'm seeing this and y'all are seeing me. Edinburgh and Door lectures on mental science by Thomas Troward. Track 5, Monster. Got a line in there, haven't been the same since I read that. Thomas Troward gave me tools to turn this mind into a monster, right? That comes from these materials and these awesome figures throughout history and the world who just gave us so much, to content to think about, and art that really helps people out and makes them reflect and think about things in a certain way. So got that here with me, to help dive into this as we go into these different various episodes based on songs from the album. So 11 songs on the album. Of course, there's going to be at least 11 of these episodes and breakdowns, but actually 12, because this is the first one. It's not even about any of the songs, right? It's just about the album in general. So, and as we're going through this, you start to notice I just have a stream of conscious, just how my mind rolls. And we may get into a topic and then go into another topic and then flow, and you'll start to get an idea of some of the bars and rhyme schemes and patterns and how things develop in this album through these conversations, these soliloquies, and these dialogues. And it's part of my pleasure sharing my journey in my world as an artist and how I think and how my mind works. So jumping back into various influences, we've got another one here. Yes, Dao De Jing, of course, and Hagakure, right? So on track 10, Poolside, What Up? I've got a line in there. Dauda got me chinging like I'm chingy. Got a holiday to inside like it's Christmas with the greenery, right? So, Dauda, okay, Dauda Jing. Great book on Zen and philosophy of Zen from the quote unquote East, and written by quote unquote Lao Tzu, whoever that is, right? Just like Little Vibe, these names, these characters. you can imagine a future where 100 years from now, like any person we have, any big artist, you wouldn't even know who they were outside of maybe something they left behind in a name, right? So similar to what we're doing here. So anyway, Dauda got me chinging like I'm chinging. Got a holiday to inside like it's Christmas with the greenery. I Ching is also another book, but anyway, another little influence there. And Hagakure, this is Yamamoto Sunetomo. Sure, I'm mispronouncing all of these names, but that's all right. And in this one, I had a line in the album of Wet Up. Yeah, I'm learning from the Rainstorm Yamamoto Sunetomo Hagakure with these waveforms. So yeah, Wet Up. Yeah, I'm learning from the Rainstorm Yamamoto Sunetomo Hagakure with these waveforms. So just all of these little things and that helped shape this album together. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. But this album came together in a very interesting way. And essentially, coming off of last year, which is 2022, depending on when you're watching this video, it may not be last year, but it's last year for me now. 2022 put out just hard albums, what I thought was hard albums in Cloud Forms, my brother Beast by Ray, one of the co-founders of Web3 Studios, and of course SS1, and we ended up doing deluxe on that one with Young Barrett, of course. Already talked about OKC, the other one of my other founders and members here at Web3 Studios, and Bow's 1010, which is actually not 1010, but you can see up there a little synchronicity, 1010 up there on the PlayStation screen, and yeah. Anyway, put out hard albums, man. Put out SS1, Cloud Forms, and it was shit that I felt was the hardest we could put out at that time. And of course, Young Barrett did Top Floor, and the beats from SS1 was everything from pretty much Top Floor, with the exception of like a couple, I think Blunts and Brick by Brick. Barrett had those on there, and they weren't on Top Floor, but he did all the beats and everything. They were already for that. And so we went hard on those and did the NFTs. We did the 3 NFT, what we called LP, long play albums, do those out there. And then we did the we did the cards as well, and just went hard. Just went hard, putting everything on traditional DSP and streaming, and also to upcoming blockchain based platforms. So doing that, the biggest thing that we saw going into this year was let's just keep it rolling, let's stay consistent, and let's to be honest, I was just so motivated and inspired that I was getting an opportunity to make music again at a high level, and to be able to do it in a creative studio and putting it on upcoming Web3 based platforms, and literally distributing it everywhere, right? It's just all accessible to us. And so we say, let's go in and let's be consistent. Let's do at least one thing every month. Saw a Russ video, shout out to Russ. Saw a Russ video, and Axel actually retweeted it, I think, as well. And that was more confirmation for me. I take things very intuitively, and so if something comes across my timeline, I see it, and there's like a number sequence, like I saw 1010, take that as a sign. Angel numbers, angel sequences, angel signs. And it's all throughout this album, and it ties in with all of these, research and esoteric materials as well. Just numbers and sequences and signs and synchronicities, once again, going back to Mr. Young. So we say, let's go in, let's go hard. So I saw this Russ video, and he was talking about drop a song every week, and that way you just stay consistent, you feed that fan base, and as long as the music is good, you do that, and then you can have a project ready to drop at the end as well to feed into that as a promo. So I like that. I thought that was a really good idea. And so I want to do my own version of it. But I just said with the blockchain and stuff and the way we were doing it, we said we could drop something every week, and we could take it to the market, take it to the blockchain, put it out, and we could, build as independent artists in every direction like that, really. And so that's what our approach was, and is all right there for us. And so we just went in, and so started creating a song every month. Luckily, very early in the year, Oklahoma, I got these allergies, man. If y'all know, out here we got pollen and all kind of shit in the trees, Okay, see, now London too, we got that loud pencil. But anyway, yeah, just started making these tracks, man, these hard tracks, and linked up very early on in the year. Um, with Axel, talented producer Axel out of New Zealand, and linked up with him through at the time was a hip hop group, Rap Heads and Gray Skulls, and we were on at the time the app was called Twitter. Now it's called X, right? So we got all these things going on, X, Twitter, I don't know. But anyway, linked up with him, and man, really loved his production. Talented producer, and hit him up. Was like, yo, I want to work, and I was just hoping that he was down with wanting to work with me, and super grateful that he obliged and just got to work and started making these songs. And I would just look through beats, and similar to the way we did SS1 and Cloud Forms, whatever the beats was named, I would usually keep that same name, and whatever called out to me, I would go in on it, and usually keep the same name. So like Home, track one, Home, like that name of that beat was literally Home. Confessions, everything. The only one I think where that changed slightly was Poolside, and that was just by me adding the parentheses and wet up to that. But everything else is the same. So I did it very intuitively, and whatever called out to me, whatever beat sounded fantastic, and that I could get a vibe over it, and that was what we did, and I rocked out over it, and I kept getting them done. And at the time, we was just putting them out. I was get one done, say, hey, this is cool, put it out, boom, put it out, and put it out on the blockchain. We were releasing them on Avalanche at that time, and they're still out there. You can get to wherever you're watching this at. I don't know, could be watching it anywhere. Get to the link in the bio. It'll lead you over to either our studio in our Discord we have set up, or either lead you to the Hyperfollow page, the DistroKid page that has the album with all the links to literally the album streaming everywhere right now. OKC. So if you want to listen to it, pretty much virtually free to listen. And on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon, none of them are paying me yet outside of what we get for the streaming royalties. So go listen on whichever one you like. And then also, if you like support more indie artists outside of those traditional big streaming players, you got Bandcamp. We're on there as well. You can buy the album, and you can get all of our albums actually. And we're also on upcoming blockchain based platforms as mentioned, Audius and Sound XYZ. And we threw some shit on Campfire, on Avalanche blockchain as well. So Sound is on Optimism blockchain, and Audius, I don't know what they're on, but it's Web3 Technologies, all IPFS and files and shit. But you probably don't care about that shit. But if you do, go collect the stuff. It's out there, okay? If you're the type of person that you like to collect, and you super fan, and you really digging into the story and what we're going to get into on this and our journey, and you want to support us, go collect. If you just want to listen, listen that way. And the biggest thing, if you like it, if you rock with it, share, tell a friend. That's how we really expand as independent artists and grow and support ourselves. So, wow, I got into a whole stream of consciousness. Well, I completely do I even know what particular part of this story we were getting into. So let's just jump back in. Oh yeah, name of the songs. So very intuitive, name of songs, and name of the beats was the name of the songs, and that's just how we rocked with everything. So anyway, start putting out one song a week, and then I'm taking it to X Spaces. There's like big vocal chat rooms, and go talk. People share music. Great music communities on there, and sharing stuff like once a week. And I'm listening to these songs. I'm sharing it with my homies. Barrett, Beats by Ray, with the guys. And they're like, man, these songs are they're good. Like, we're liking it and we're feeling it's good. And Barrett's making a fire album too with OKC. So I was like, I got to a point where I started to think, I want to put these together in something like a collection, like an album, right? So I started to think and really like go through my mind. We probably got to about 9 songs in, and it was April 29th, and I was just outside the studio thinking. And in the morning, like I like to do, I like to think, I like to pray, I like to have my tea and really get in a good mental state, and thinking about these songs that we had. I only had 9 at that point, and it was up to South. And at that point, I was really thinking that would end the show because South is such a strong, forceful song, and it's just like a big climax. It's like, yo, this is the one. This is the one. Like I was really proud of what we were able to do on that one, and I felt it would close it out well. However, I did have a couple more songs in the clip as well that I wasn't quite sure what to do with in Poolside and Drive. So that was also in my mind. And but anyway, came to one point where I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about sequencing and how we could possibly put it together, and thinking about the tarot and how the cards are laid out. And I had this intuition, this flash, and it was brilliant. It came to me in that moment. I have to praise God, thank God. And I saw that album, the tracks of the album laid out in a certain order to where it would line up with the first 9 major arcana or tarot trumps. The first 9 characters, there's major arcana and minor arcana. Major arcana are the characters, the personalities. At least that's one way of looking at them, of the human soul, the spirit, right? So when I laid out the tracks in a certain way, or in this vision as it was laid out in a certain way, it lined up perfectly with that as I was thinking of themes of the songs and names of the songs, and also lyrics and bars and things that were in the song. And then also, with that Poolside and Drive as well, that played into it. That got some more intuitions after that, and that those needed to be in there as well. And it made sense because the first 9 songs. So this is a 9 year for me in the tarot, or hermit year, and so with originally thinking 9 on the 29th, that made sense. I tied that together with, okay, that's what it is. And then it changed to 11, also made sense as well because I was born on the 11th, and also born on the 9th month. So very, very, very auspicious signs for me. And, I rolled with it, and looking at the song names and the lyrics and everything, and then laying out the cards, the names of the cards. So the first card, right, we have Magician and the Tarot, and of course there's different names for different decks, but some of the decks I use, the main ones I use and the main ones I like, here we got the Marseille. Wow, this is your traditional French, gosh, if I could get the name up there, Marseille, traditional French deck, kind of older medieval imagery, and it's one of the older ones we could trace back to antiquity. Then we got Bow, Rider Waite Smith, of course. There's a Magician right there, and that's kind of one of the more modern ones. It's got more medieval imagery still as well, but it's a more modern reinterpretation on it from Mr. Waite, who was esotericist, among other things. You can look these individuals up. Then we've got the Top Tarot deck by Crowley, Frida Harris, Bow, right there. And that one is definitely, this one's more modern interpretation of the tarot. And of course with Aleister Crowley and Frida Harris, you can go look them up as well. Crowley's a very renowned esotericist. And there's another book actually as well, which recently has helped me tie things together, which goes in more on Crowley as well. Understanding Aleister Crowley's Tarot deck by Don Juan Milo Ducret. If I mispronounce your name, brother, charge it to my head, not my heart. So anyway, this is another good one. Helped me tie a lot of things together. So if you're interested, as we going through and talking about some of these things in your own study, you could dive in here to see some of these reference materials. And but anyways, I was thinking about that intuition, and it just laid everything out to me in an intuitive way. And I knew we had to roll with that, and we just had to make it an album. And I started to get an idea that this was part of something bigger. As we continue to put the album together. So my tarot card is a 3, which is the Empress. Personality and Destiny is a 3, which is the Empress. And Axel, funny name, Axel, the producer's name. So you got Kingdom Hearts there in the background. Huge Kingdom Hearts nerd, fan, stan, whatever you want to call it. And in the, see, is the homie on the cover of this one? He might not be on that one. He might not be on that one, but it's all right. You can look him up. He actually, no, they don't even got the homie on the back here. What is the deal? Well, anyway, on this game, Kingdom Hearts 2, you meet Axel, and he wields fire, so flames, got that hot fire, and fire wheels. And also Axel is 10, the wheel. So I mentioned I'm in my hermit year, coming into my wheel year, my 14 year. So Axel was like another little thing for me, another synchronicity of like, whoa. But then when we finished the album, like all the songs, everything, and I never know how many seconds or minutes is going to come out to be. The guys, they mix it and everything. So it's just however long the beat runs, and then they can cut it off wherever, do whatever with it. But with the songs, 11 songs, it ended up being 37 minutes and 20 seconds. So that was like, 3 plus 7. Once again, I'm a numerologist guy, so big numbers nerd, right? So, and adding these numbers together in this way, that's one of the esoteric schools of thought in which you can add numbers together to get root numbers, and then you can come to correspondences, whether through a tarot card or just that number itself and the mystical associations with that number. So 37 minutes, 20 seconds long for the album, 11 songs. So 3 plus 7, that's 10, right? Actually, 37 minutes and 20. I said I was born 9/11, right? 9/11, I know. 11 years before 9/11 as well. So there's 11 songs on the album. So we got, wow, 9/11 is 20. So 37, 10, 20, bam, 3 there as well, right? So very interesting there. 11 songs once again. Just very interesting synchronicities and correspondences there that played into things. And so that was just, once again, that was just more stuff that just really let me know that we were part of something special here, and a special moment in history and time in making this album and this message. So, recently when I was thinking about this album and how do I want to start these breakdowns, it's so layered, it's so varied, and I could talk for a long time on it. And as we're looking at this one, we up to 20 minutes and almost a 2 gigabyte video. So it's like, yeah, it's a lot. That's awesome. It's perfect. This long form content here. And I realize this is just the type of content this is, and it's the type of artist I am. And let's make sure we can get the spiritual stuff back in there. Boy, come on. Type of artist I am. And so whoever rocks with it, we like to go into these different various topics. And, yeah, more than just surface level talks. So, not that there's anything wrong with those, because I like those too. Anyway, came across a very interesting part in this book in which, Frida Harris, Lady Harris, who designed the Tarot, the Crowley deck, she was, writing him a letter, and it's chapter 4, the art. So something for me too. 11/11 is like a number for me. So last month, in November 2023, was about 12 years since I created what was my previous album under a previous moniker, H-Raw. I worked on it with the homies at that time as well. Shout out to Rod Rashawn, Sam Focus Clay, Diamond Sound Recording Studio, and a few others as well. And that one, Philosopher's Stone, Stage 1, Negrito, I started seeing 11/11 a lot back in 2011. And so I had been writing, dabbling, and that was like my first time really putting a project together and, going in, spending money I didn't have on loans and stuff, and driving to various studios in the city, and but making it happen. Some songs I had put together since high school. Also, tap in. There's a playlist. If you watch, there's a playlist on Spotify that has a previous podcast I did with another group, Simmer Down, on X Spaces, where I go into this some more as well. So check out that playlist. It's the OKC playlist on Spotify. And you can also check out the video on YouTube as well, where I give a breakdown. It could be like a kind of pre-introductory episode to this. So anyway, Yeah, that project, Philosopher's Stone, I started seeing 1111 numbers. That's how I really first started getting into it. I'm watching Full Metal Alchemist. I'm learning about alchemy, and my raps are different, and I like nerdy stuff, and I'm talking about esoteric shit along with real life stuff. So that's what I named it, and that's what I put out at that time. And it was dope actually listening back because there's 11 tracks in that as well. And I put it out 11/11/2011, on purpose because I was into the numbers and shit as mentioned. And I just felt like that's what I needed to be done. Then I had a hiatus from music, for about, gosh, until 2021. And my brother Beast by Ray came linked back up, brought the microphone over, had some beats, and it was just time, man. We said, let's get into this shit. Um, but anyway, going back to that album, because jumping into this one, the themes are very similar, there's 11 tracks, anyway, 11/11, that's 4, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 4, right? If I added that up right. And so anyway, this caught my eye because this is chapter 4 of this book, and it's called The Art. And so she's Sandra Crowley, Frida Harris is Sandra Crowley. She's working on these cards in this deck. Why haven't I got living fire, which could weave musically these beauties? I can't do it with pigment. I want poetry and music and light, not colored chalks. And there's an annotation there as well. 37. Yeah, you might not be able to see it, but there's an annotation there. Get the book. Get the book. It's a good book. But, it's interesting because, and I think these cards are beautiful. She's talking about wanting to do it with music and poetry and living fire. And so I came to that. I came to a realization that, wow, that's what we really did on this album. And super grateful, super humbled. And like I said, a lot of it as an artist, as artists, we know sometimes we don't always know the stuff we put in the music or like the stuff we put into art, or we mean it one way and we later come to like, I've come back and read lyrics from this thing and I've found different layers going through different studies and things of like, oh, I didn't even catch that the first time, it was like a different intent. So it was dope to see that and see that she had a desire to want to do it with music, because I don't have a desire to want to do it visually. So it's just dope to see that as artists we always want to do something different or more or add on to or feel we could do something a different way. But yeah, so I feel like that's what we did. This really is a musical exposition of the of this current time we're in, this current moment in history, what Crowley would call the eon, the new eon. And it's a musical exposition of that. It's got esoteric, mystical layers to it from just about every religion and mystical tradition, at least the major ones, the ones that I've been grateful enough to study and learn about. And I'm still new in my learnings and studies and everything, so I'm still learning a lot as well. It's a time capsule of my life and a journey through my life and things that inspired and influenced me, from games to literature, mystical stuff, technology, just everything, life, politics, man. It's a story of tribulation, triumph, of going with your heart. So before I made this album, right? So jumping back around, I have a feeling we may be getting at least kind of close to the end for now. I just start to feel like I'm rambling, but I'm excited for this already. But before I put this album out, it was 2021 and April. And I'm just getting into, like, I'm a few months into pretty much at what was, gosh, I guess you could say, well, now I feel like I might be getting my years mixed up. Because we started, so beginning of this year, of course, we started this album. And so no, it was 2022 rather. 2021, November 2021 is when my brother Beast by Ray and we started putting the Cloud Forms album together. And so 2022, in April, that's when we're really into the studio, making everything. And then I'm still working at this time at a traditional 9 to 5, and I'm doing the business on the side outside of that. I'm building that up in my time outside of that, and just grinding, hustling, doing what I can. Wife's pregnant, and then bam, comes 2022 in April, and we had the music video shoot for False Pretense the exact next day. And I remember being so stressed out, like, man, got this video shoot, need to get ready. I also had work obligations, so I'm taking care of that. And I remember I got let go, and it ended up being perfect for that, because as scary as it was, and I came to a fork in the road, and was really able to make a decision on what I wanted to do. And I wanted to go all the way in with my dreams and this vision of entrepreneurship that my brother and I started, and these albums, these NFTs, this new Web3 digital ownership era, and doing it in our own way, in a way that felt authentic and real to us, and building up a Web3 based creative studio. And so, with that, and with me making that decision that I'm just gonna go in, follow my heart, follow my intuition, not knowing what next steps look like, and just investing and making mistakes and learning, and ultimately still creating art, going hard in art, making music and making the art, and leaning into it, and leaning into what I feel I'm good at. And things started coming together. And so, really, this album and this whole experience, Web3 Studios, everything, OKC, and shout out to my brother Young Barrett as well. OKC really putting in the work, getting that album done. And I can't thank these guys enough as well, man, because the whole story behind it for me, it's a lot. Like I said, it's my life, it's everything. I know it's a part for them. Shout out to Axel, produced by Axel, RJC Productions, RJC. I never remember his name, man. My fellow Italian brother, because it's RJC producer on social media and RJC Productions on here, but he's fellow Italiano. So shout out to him, RJC Productions, P Status Beats as well. And Axel, shout out to them, man. Really couldn't have done this without them, as well as my guys, Web3 Studios, Young Barrett, Beast Bar Ray, and Brett. Shout out to them. And everybody, man, that's supporting this thing really too. Like all the supporters out there, all the fans, man. I don't even, not fans, I feel like we fans of each other because I'm their fans too. But all the supporters, man, like for real. A guy, Dead Society Poetry by Nate, a talented artist, check him out. Jay the Third, World Peace Raphael, and man, too many to name, man. But just people that consistently showing love to the album online on the internet. And 20 Blood as well, Greg Wilcox, 20 Blood, shout out to him. And yeah, man, it's just a story of trial and tribulation and triumph, and following your heart and your intuition. And as I started doing that and kept doing that with this company and with this album, things kept happening, and we kept making these amazing songs, and kept seeing amazing synchronicities, which are littered throughout this album, and also littered throughout my X account, which previously known as Twitter. Get on my X. I've got threads on my pin tweet out, or pin post, whatever they call it, that go into a lot of the esoteric and synchronicity stuff. Also in our virtual studio, in our Discord, tap in there as well. I got that. If you support the studio, you get access to an exclusive area. Same with our digital collectibles, and we're going to be going in more content on this. Like I said, I kind of feel like I'm rambling now because there's so much stuff that I could go into here. Yeah, just enjoy these breakdowns. If there's something that calls out to you, or something you want broken down even more, you have a question, put it in the comments wherever this is at. Share it with a friend. Tap into the album, tap into the music, and check out the story. Once again, 11 tracks, 11 songs, corresponding with the first 11 major arcana. Tarot trumps, so Home, Confessions, Old School, Menace, Monster, Gaslit, Soul, Fade, South, Poolside Drive. Yeah, tap in with it, family. Tap in. I don't know. I don't feel like I got nothing else to say right now, other than I'm super grateful. And I didn't get to the Spotify rap message, so this is essentially it. In terms of gratitude, thank you for everybody tuning in, listening so far. And yeah, man, we just getting started on this. Got to get my spiritual stuff tuned up. OKC, got the lightning bolt here. Bada bing, bada boom. All this is spiritual stuff, by the way. It's you want to rob me monetary, there's no quote unquote monetary, probably hardly any monetary value in this. This is all deceased family members or came from like spiritual trips to Mecca or spiritual sites around the world. Got some Buddhist stuff in here and stuff from Thailand and bows, skulls, unks, all my spiritual shit, man. Shout out to my ox, my ox in college got me this fresh, pullover. And yeah, OKC Thunder boy, we still rocking. We rocking here at OKC. So I'm rambling now. I'm gonna close this shit out, man. Tune into these wherever they at. They gonna be everywhere, just like all our stuff. Tune into Web3 Studios, Lil Vibe. Check out Young Barrett. Check out Beast by Ray. Check out Axel RJC Productions, P Status Beats, and the whole squad, man. A lot more shit coming. Listen to the album OKC. Tap in wherever you at. We out there. Peace.